Hey now, everybody, how the fuck are ya? Everybody doing good? Glad to hear it. As you know, with all the shit show stuff going, see, the whole political thing with, I'm for Trump, I'm for Harris, this has been covered back and forth, front, side, it doesn't matter. It's been covered like a blanket. Who's full of shit, who's not full of shit, who's pushing propaganda, who isn't. I can't add to this conversation. I can't. There's nothing I can add. At this point, we all know who we're voting for. We're not changing our mind. Something drastic has to happen for you to change your mind on who you're voting for. End of story. There's creators on here who debunk every single thing Kamala says. There are certain people on here that try to debunk everything Trump says. But they take Trump stuff and put it out of context to push their narrative. Okay? Harris, Vice President Harris, doesn't need it. She's fucking tripping all over herself without any help. There's no editing with her. None. Because she has no fucking clue how to answer questions. The most glaring one I've seen over the last couple of weeks, because I haven't been on much anymore, because I haven't been on much because most of the things that people are saying, it doesn't need to be repeated. Okay? There's nothing more I could add to what people are saying. But when people at a town hall or at that stupid Oprah thing, which we'll get to in a minute, when a husband and wife are sitting there going, what are you going to do to lower the price of groceries? And she goes on this fucking rant about being middle class and working at McDonald's and nothing. It's Vice President word salad. She has no fucking... She is absolutely not qualified for this job. She isn't even qualified to be VP at this point. But here we are. Okay? Now you can turn around and you can say, well, Trump isn't qualified for this job. Well, newsflash, sweetheart. He's had the job already. And from what I can tell, we're still here. The fucking world didn't end. Excuse me. Okay, so I don't know what you people fear is going to happen. Do you really think everything is just going to fucking implode? I mean, I don't understand it. You're pushing this narrative that says, no, if Trump gets in, we're fucked. No! If this woman becomes president, you are going to be more fucked than you are now. And if you can't see it on your own, there's no hope for you. Now, like I said, you're going to vote for who you're going to vote for, and that's the end of story. Done. I'm not even going to fucking question it anymore. Okay? Like I said, there's no changing anyone's mind at this point. Early voting is started in a couple of states, which is asinine to start early voting in September for an election in November. That's number one. Number two, mail-in ballots are absolutely absurd in my opinion. Unless you live in a rural area where there's no way you can get to a polling place, if you're elderly or disabled and can't get to a polling place, or if you're out of the country or out of the state on business that you normally vote in, those are the people who should get absentee ballots. Everybody else should get off their ass and go to fucking vote on election day. First of all, you need to move election day to a Saturday. Okay? This way you can extend the hours. No one's really working. The majority of people aren't working anyway. And it doesn't really matter. Here in New York, the polls open up at 6 a.m. and they are closed at 9 p.m. Okay? That's 15 hours you have to vote. You mean to tell me we need early fucking voting? I think there's even, I have to look it up, but if I remember right, there's a law on New York State books where employers have to give you a 4-hour window from work to go vote. Now, here in New York, schools are closed because that's what we use to vote with. We use the school auditoriums or their cafeterias. So all the schools here are closed. But it's still, you got 15 hours to go vote. Why do we need an extra week and a half? Why? Especially in a city like New York. There's ways to get around. Bus, train, taxi. The elderly have Access-a-Ride, which is a shitty fucking system, but that's besides the point. So yeah, I don't get it. Now, other states may not have the same hours, or other states have more people. You need to, if you think there's going to be a line, like an hour wait line, like at fucking Disneyland waiting for a goddamn ride, then you need to open more polling places. Use every single school you have. Use churches if you have to. I'm sure a church has a basement somewhere that you can use. There's a place by me, a VA Hall that does it. Okay? VA Halls, Knights of Columbus, what's the other one? Freemason Halls, okay? Elks Clubs. There's tons of places you could set up a polling place. So to sit here and tell, we don't have enough, make enough. Okay? Presidential voting is the most important vote every 4 years. The rest of the state shit and the governor stuff has nothing compared to who's going to run the entire country. And early voting to me is a fucking bullshit way. It's way too easy to become fraudulent. It hasn't happened to my knowledge, but it's a lot easier than if you show up at the fucking polls and do it yourself. And if you don't tell your election board, or it's too late, somebody doesn't tell the election board that you're dead, that paper ballot could go out too. If they don't get it in time, that ballot can go out. Okay? And those 3 states that already started early voting, mailing shit out, I guess if it was requested. So if I requested it and I drop dead tomorrow, it's showing up at my house. At least that's the theory I believe. I mean, if there's something different, then hey, okay. Maybe they mark down if this comes in, this guy dead. But I don't know. I don't know how everything works. All I know is here in New York, it's a 15-hour process on a Tuesday. I'm sorry. Move it to Saturday, like other countries do. Because I want to say 90% of the workforce is not working, so they can get to a poll. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but it's going to be another shit show for the next, 50 some odd days left? Holy shit. Booyah.